This podcast is brought to you by the Alien Soda Company, your connection to pop culture and paranormal themed merch. AlienSodaCompany.shop for all things out of this world.
All right, fellow searchers, get ready to dive into the chilling legend of the Jersey Devil. Let's talk about it on this episode of the Paranormal Mind podcast.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Paranormal... Josh is an idiot. Okay, so what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Paranormal Mind podcast. Thank you for hanging out with us. We really appreciate you joining us on this episode. How's everybody doing so far today?
Oh, I feel amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I bet you do.
Feel good.
I bet you do.
I bet you do. So we've been drinking because our Patreon members, they give
Bought
us
us a bunch of
recommendations.
alcohol.
Yeah, they bought us alcohol. They gave us some recommendations on what we should try.
I'm
each
looking
drink.
at you, Patreon.
Yeah,
Patreon. You've done this.
Each drink for each episode, and we've had some really good ones so far, and we're still sipping on this one. I've got the, what do you call it?
Zatarans.
Josh is over there like, please don't make me try to pronounce this. Sazerac. And that is like bitters and...
Yeah, bitters, absinthe, whiskey.
It's like a cousin of the old fashioned.
Right.
Limon.
And then you have the...
Johnny Vegas.
which is what? Tequila and
some
watermelon stuff.
schnapps and
Energy drink.
some energy drink.
Yeah.
And I
what
got
about you?
the OG whiskey sour.
Yeah, which I love. All right, let's get into this episode of the Jersey Devil legend.
I love it.
All right, let's dive into the mysterious world of the Jersey Devil, also known as the Leeds Devil. The legendary creature has become a staple in South Jersey and Philadelphia folklore. According to the tales, this beast roams the forests of the Pine Barrens in South Jersey, and let me tell you, it's quite a sight to behold.
I would love to go there.
Now, the Jersey Devil is described in many different ways, but the common depiction is that of a flying biped with hooves. Picture this, a kangaroo-like or wyvern-like creature with a horse.
Again, with the wyvern.
With a horse or goat-like head, leathery bat-like wings, horns, small clawed hands, legs with cloven hooves, and a forked tail.
My wife.
Wait a minute. Why are you leaning towards
My wife?
After I do the description, you say my wife right after. Why?
Because you said wyvern, and me and my wife have this argument all the time. Apparently, there's dragons and there's wyverns.
Right, they're two different species.
They're two different things.
Correctamundo.
And I'm just like, oh, well,
And she's right.
Don't
She's right.
tell her that.
You're right, man.
You're right, Mandy.
You are right. So, this creature moves with lightning speed and emits a blood-curdling scream that'll send shivers down your spine.
What's the scream sound like?
Or something like that.
Love it.
One more time.
That does not seem blood-curdling.
So, can you imagine encountering something like that in the dark depths of the Pine Barrens?
Sounds like a cat in downtown Macon.
I sure would not want to encounter this at all. All right.
Especially if it's...
Especially if it sounded something like... All right. So the legend of the Jersey Devil has its roots in the folklore of the Lenape people, the original inhabitants of the Pine Barrens. They believe in a spirit called Imsing, which sometimes took the form of a deer-like creature with leathery wings. But it was the tale of Mother Leeds that truly gave birth to the legend we know today. Legend has it that Mother Leeds, a resident of the Pine Barrens, was about to give birth to her 13th child.
Uh-oh.
So she must have been related to Dave Schrader, because he's got 11 kids. They must have some sort of relation there. Frustrated and overwhelmed, she cursed the child, declaring it would be the devil.
I feel like that's the worst thing you could do as a mother
Absolutely.
to a newborn
Curse.
child. Don't curse your child
Do
because
not
that's only
curse.
going to cause a blowback on you.
Yeah, do not curse the baby.
Where's the baby?
So on a stormy night in 1735, something truly extraordinary happened. As Mother Leeds went into labor, her friends gathered around her, but what was born was no ordinary child.
Oh, holy night.
It transformed into a horrifying creature with hooves, a goat's head, bat wings, and a forked tail.
Hated when
And
that
I
happened.
see you shaking your head, and we'll let you explain in a minute, okay?
Hated when that happened.
Yeah.
Last Tuesday, man, that happened.
So this beast let out a terrifying scream, thrashed around, and flew up the chimney, disappearing into the pines.
Santa?
Can you imagine?
Santa.
Can you imagine pushing this thing out and it just fucking looks at you?
And does what, Shane?
And hooks you with its forked tail.
Yeah, and it just flies away.
Oh, Lord, help us. All right. Now, some versions of the story claim that Mother Leeds was a witch and the child's father was none other than the
devil himself.
That's right.
I knew it was coming.
There are even tales of clergymen attempting to exorcise the creature from the Pine Barrens. It's all part of the rich
You can't
tapestry
exercise
of
something that's
folklore
already born.
surrounding the Jersey Devil.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
So before the early 1900s, the creature was known as the Leeds Devil or the Devil of Leeds, named after the local Leeds family or the town of Leeds Point in South New Jersey.
Is it called Leeds Point because of the family?
I don't know. Some researchers...
That would be something you'd research.
That's right. Some researchers believe... I research more than y'all on these topics. Some... Lord, God, help us. Jesus Christ. Some researchers believe that Mother Leeds was actually Deborah Leeds, a real-life figure who had 12 children. The Leeds family lived in Leeds Point and had connections to the Pine Barrens, which adds another layer of intrigue to the story.
I could buy that. I could buy this.
Yeah.
One historian theorizes that the legend of Mother Leeds and the Leeds family arose from religio-political disputes in colonial southern New Jersey. Apparently, these disputes involved early New Jersey politicians.
I bet you couldn't say that again if you tried.
Involved early New Jersey politicians, Benjamin Franklin and Daniel Leeds.
What?
A prominent almanac publisher. Daniel Leeds had fallen out of favor with the Quaker community after publishing almanacs containing astrology and esoteric Christian writings. This led to a feud between Leeds and the Quakers, which accusations of working for the devil was thrown around quite a bit. It's fascinating how political rivalries and religious controversies can shape folklore over time.
Oh, you
This
look
is
at
one prime
politics
example.
today, you hear it all the time.
The Jersey Devil legend didn't gain widespread popularity until the early 20th century. Sightings and encounters were reported throughout the years, but it was the wave of sightings in 1909 that really grabbed people's attention. Newspapers published numerous accounts of encounters with the Jersey Devil, from trolley car attacks to police firing at the creature. Panic spread throughout the region, with schools closing and workers staying home. So it was a big deal. There were even hoaxes and attempts to capture the creature, involving one including a kangaroo with artificial wings and claws.
What?
Yeah, weird. So skeptics have offered various explanations for the Jersey Devil, ranging from misidentifications of known animals to hoaxes and mass hysteria, which we've talked about numerous times before. Some suggest that the sandhill crane could be the basis for the creature's descriptions.
Have you seen those things? They look terrifying.
Yeah, they're weird for sure. Others believe it's a product of creative storytelling and the region's isolated and eerie reputation. But regardless of the truth behind the legend, the Jersey Devil has become deeply ingrained in American popular culture, inspiring sports teams, appearing in video games and TV shows, and captivating the imaginations of people worldwide. So whether you believe in the legend or not, the Jersey Devil remains an enigmatic figure lurking in the dark corners of the Pine Barrens, a testament to the power of folklore and the mysteries that continue to intrigue us. Keep your eyes peeled and your wits about you if you ever find yourself venturing into the realm of the Jersey Devil.
Take me, Devil Daddy.
Listen to the sounds of the Jersey Devil.
That's right. And thank you for listening to us, especially me, trying to go through everything that I've written. Like I said before, I source all of these topics and I write like tons.
I do all the work.
I do a lot of it. I do a lot of
You
it.
do. Okay. I'll give it to you.
But
Wow.
I writing all this stuff and then trying to sound it out.
Yeah,
and
you
speak
put
it
all
at the
these
same
big
time.
words in here, and then you're like, shit, I can't pronounce it.
Can't come to the table with them?
Well, no. I can pronounce it, but it's like by the time I have to talk about it, it's like, ugh.
Your tongue's so loose.
Got a little tied up. The Jersey Devil, what do you think about it? I have friends that live in the area that completely believe in the Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
What do y'all think
This
about it?
This is one of my favorite cryptids because it's
Me too.
like right up there with Mothman and the Flatwoods Monster.
Why
and
is
like-
that?
Because it's been around for so long. It's not a brand new cryptid. It's a regional. I prefer regional cryptids to ones that pop up everywhere. Like even Bigfoot. Bigfoot
Agreed.
is harder to believe
Yeah.
because everybody has
It's such a
Bigfoot.
global phenomenon.
Nobody else has a Mothman. I mean, now there was like Chicago had their weird little Mothman bullshit, but
It's like the ghetto Mothman.
So why do you think it was bullshit? Chicago.
because it was like
Because there's only one real Mothman.
yeah, there's only one Mothman, and he was there to warn them about the bridge.
Yep, he's an omen.
He was there to warn them that the bridge was going to
Yeah,
collapse.
and we needed to talk about
They
the
didn't
Mothman after a while.
listen, so
That's right.
So the Jersey Devil, you said it's been around for a long time. What other information about it leads you to believe that it could be something factual, something that we need to pay attention to?
I don't know because so like the Jersey Devil, like it's got its own folklore, it's got its own story behind it. So with like the whole Leeds family and the mother cursing the baby, and it's one of those stories where when you hear something so elaborate like that, there's a bit of truth behind it. Granted, it's going to be pushed to the limits, but there's a bit of truth. Yeah, there's a level of truth. It's just been exacerbated.
But I think that's the case with everything.
Right.
I think with every story that we hear, there's a level of truth behind it. With these stories like the Jersey Devil, the Mothman, is it enough to really lead credence to? Is it something to where we need to pay attention to? This is something that is out there and we need to maybe search for it.
I think the best part about it,
or what?
I think the best part about Mothman and the Jersey Devil is these are stories that you want to believe in.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think the Jersey Devil is
like the Skinwalker, you want to believe in, and there's enough history. There's enough data in there where you can formulate like, okay, well, it was real, is real, but different.
the Jersey Devil is one of those like passes the test as far as like, can you explain it in logical terms? Can you find something can you give me an explanation that deems it normal or can disprove that it was a cryptid? Bigfoot could have been a dude in an ape suit, been out there for as long as Bigfoot's been around.
It's really hard to fake a Jersey Devil or a Mothman.
6 foot, a fucking 6 foot red-eyed demon with wings that shows up for a few minutes and tells you the bridge is going to collapse and then leaves.
But it's harder to fake it. But you know how I was talking about the crane earlier with the Jersey Devil? Could it be just a misinterpreted or misunderstood?
So that crane,
aspect of something?
those cranes are like really freaky. So of course that's a possibility. I think regardless, it's the one that I don't know, man. Jersey Devil, you just want to believe in it.
Well, just because you want to believe in something doesn't mean it's
Right, I mean,
true.
we
True.
talk about it
You're
all
right.
the time, but like for me personally, it's one of the ones where it's like if
It's the
there
more
are
credible?
if there
Yeah.
are cryptids out there, it's up there on the list of ones that I deem more credible
Right.
than others. Because there's 1,000 cryptids out there, and there's 1,001 reasons why they're not real. The Mothman, Jersey Devil, Flatwoods Monster.
So do you think that these like Bigfoot, the Jersey Devil, do you think it's a paranormal thing, or do you think it's different creatures that we haven't classified yet?
It could
That
very well
maybe
be
is
Yeah, it could very well be a one-off thing where it's like it's just some species or some final like part of an extinct species. It's the last one of its kind. Or whatever.
Like you know how Bigfoot. A lot of people think now that it's interdimensional. Like, do you think these creatures
could very well be? Could be just zipping in from an alternate dimension and zipping out.
And what would cause them to do that, or can they do that from their own free will?
Well, maybe they don't know they're doing it.
Maybe they don't know they're doing it. I mean, like the Bridgewater Triangle, Bermuda Triangle, the Devil's Triangle.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They're all the vile vortices phase in and phase out. We don't know what happens. We don't know. You may not even know that it's happening. You could go through a vortex, or you could go through like one of these vile vortices and go to another dimension, be there for 30 years, never know it, pop back out the other side.
Fascinating, man. There's so many things out there that we don't understand.
Yeah, for sure. Can you imagine that, like Amelia Earhart or whatever, coming back into
she could just pop back in at any moment. You never know it.
Yeah, and she's like, okay, I can't say this because this will freak people out. What if she's
here now?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What if
she's already lived a whole life and
right? Yeah. What if she's existing in our time now as the same age as she was when she disappeared?
Yeah,
and
I mean, do you remember
she knows that if she says anything, people will not believe it. It's just something. It's so weird to wrap your head around.
There's that guy that said he went through like a storm and like landed at an Air Force base on an island that was like slap full.
Dude, this is crazy that you're talking about this because I just recently heard this from somebody else like in the last day or so.
He was in like a ridiculously bad thunderstorm while he was flying and his plane got damaged. He landed at an Air Force base that was like fully functional, everything.
Yep.
Got his plane fixed, took flight again, went through another storm, came out, flew around, and then he went back to the base and it was like deserted and like abandoned and had been abandoned for years. And he was like, what the hell?
Dude, that's crazy. Well, it's
so crazy to me that you're talking about this right now.
It's like that show, Manifest?
Yeah.
It's the same concept, but can you imagine, like, even if you were to go through something like that, what would you do? What would you do if you traveled through?
Yeah, I mean, how do you explain it?
You know what's really fascinating about the world, though, is we go through such great lengths to try and understand and explain everything. And yet today, there are still things that cannot be explained.
Yeah, and will always be unexplainable.
That's what
amazing,
kills me. Like,
man.
People want an explanation for everything, but like at the end of the day, we haven't even touched the bottom of the ocean.
Nope.
We've barely scraped the sky.
I mean, y'all remember when they first recorded the giant squids that were in the ocean?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole theory that we've never even been to outer space. We can't break through the ozone layer area because it burns everything up that we have. There's astronauts on record accidentally slipping up and saying, "Yeah, we can't get past the stratosphere or isosphere or whatever." Like, do you
think there's a reason why we're wanting to know explanations for everything?
Oh yeah, it's human nature.
Yeah, it's human nature.
It's human nature, but why?
If you can't explain it, you don't.
There's something about us that thinks that we have to understand everything because we feel like we're all
we want to be smarter than everything.
But do you
else.
think we can understand everything?
I mean, by default, we can't.
100%. There's things that were here before us, and there are things that are going to be here long after us, and they've seen it all, and they're going to be here through it all, and they're going to be here long after we are here, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Which sucks to even think about, though, because like you said, human nature, we want to know everything.
We're not physically designed to know everything in it either, which is the crux
why do
of it
we
all.
even have that desire to know everything? Think about that.
We don't.
Why even have the desire?
As a species, we are so obsessed with being at the top of the food chain that we have to be in control of everything all the time.
I wonder if it's just like a time thing. Like we just have the time to be able to do it. So then you
But
want
why
to
have
learn
the desire if it's not possible to attain it?
Because that's human nature. I mean,
that's human nature. I mean, if you look at everything we have today, you wouldn't think it was possible.
It's a survival thing. We have the capacity to understand how to survive. We try to figure out a way to survive everything.
Yeah.
Problem is, there's some things that we're just not capable of surviving, and we, as a species, we cannot accept the fact that like our survival is not guaranteed.
A big thing we're looking at now is like de-aging, you know?
Yeah.
How can we live longer? That's just what we do.
Which is sad if you think about it, because it's just delaying the inevitable anyway.
Everybody's greatest fear is dying.
It's death.
Which is weird, because it's the one thing I guess people don't know that happened after.
And it's the one thing we truly don't understand.
Look at flies. Flies live, breathe, die. They know.
Bees too.
That's just how they live, and they just accept it and they move on.
Or they don't even have
the capacity to understand
unconscious
it.
knowledge of it.
They just do
That's
it.
just it.
Man, this whole cycle of life is so weird, man. Because you're right. Like our fear, we know how the birth happens. We know how, everything happens to where a life is formed.
Yeah.
But we really don't know what happens when we die.
Nope.
Like we theorize, we believe in spirits and ghosts and all this other stuff. But if we're really honest with ourselves, we really don't know what the hell we're talking about.
No.
We don't know what is going to happen. Even if you go off of the biblical accounts, and we talk about this quite a bit, the religious upbringing, but the Bible even says those who are alive and remain will be caught up to meet the Lord in the air.
Yeah.
Which means until his return, you're in the ground.
Yep.
You are not conscious. You are just there. There's no heaven or hell. Those who are alive and remain will be caught up. Those who are asleep in Christ will rise first. That's what the Bible says.
But that's bizarre in itself. Like,
think about it. Like,
if all that is true, then why?
Right.
Why?
And if all of that is true, what are we communicating with now? Could that be extraterrestrial? Could that be anything? Whatever. If all of that is true, and after we die, we're done. Everything is wiped out. I think the reason why we search so much and we're looking for ways to prolong our life is because we are so terrified of that.
Yeah.
Of there being
nothing after that.
Right.
Yeah.
We're so terrified of that we want to prolong everything to try to figure out more. And, it's full circle back to the Jersey Devil stuff. We always, whenever there's something, even if it's folklore or whatever, there's something that drives us into wanting to know more about that.
Yeah.
Because that tells us that there's more beyond our reality.
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
something more beyond that. And I think that's what, like Jersey Devil, Bigfoot, all of that interdimensional stuff lets us think, okay, well, there's more in another dimension. There's more in a different plane.
Right.
If
you don't believe that, then you believe the latter, which is you'll be in the ground.
Well, and all consciousness will cease.
Yeah.
Which means
that's it.
That's it. This life is it. But on the flip side of that, that's something that we can really take a lot of motivation towards. Is like while we're living and while the life we're living right now, freaking live it as if there's nothing.
The only thing you know of is the here and now.
Yeah,
really.
Live it as if there's nothing else, and let's do it to the best of our ability. Anyway. But anyway, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Paranormal Mind Podcast. Thank you so much for your support. Please support our sponsor, AlienSodaCompany.shop. Go check out their really cool merch and stuff that they have, and use code SEARCHERS for 10% off of your order. You can use that every time that you order. Let them know how much you appreciate them, just like we appreciate them allowing us to do what we do. Also, go to patreon.com/searchersbelieve. Sign up for our Patreon. If you sign up for our $25 a month tier, you will be entered to win our contest. Once we hit 100 Patreon members, you'll be entered to win an all-exclusive paid trip to investigate with me, Josh, and Ray.
And this won't be a one-time thing. We'll be doing this yearly as long as we have.
Well, we'll be doing 2 a year.
Yeah.
2 a year. Make sure you sign up. Remember, the $25 a month tier is how you qualify. You have to be signed up on that tier. All exclusive paid. Flight, hotel, lodging, food, merch, everything. All you have to worry about is getting there. So sign up, patreon.com/searchersbelieve. Go check out our YouTube at youtube.com/@searchersbelieve. We'll be dropping a third episode soon. Join me, Josh, and Ray at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. June what? 14th?
July.
Or July,
that's
excuse
right.
me.
Yep.
July 14th through the 16th. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll be in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It's always a good time there. It's supporting a good cause. And then you could join me and Ray at Scarefest this year, October 20th through the 22nd. You can go to www.scarefestweekends.com to get your tickets and to join us there. So thank you so much again for everything. We love you guys. And until the next episode, Searchers out.
See ya.
See ya.